All right, so now that you have all your digital files in one place, the next step is getting those files organized in some system that hopefully you'll be able to maintain. And if you perceive this as being difficult, I hope that this video will provide you with some really simple strategies to employ to get you up and running, even if it means you may have to go back later and sort of sort through some things. So right now, if you look at my Google Drive, I have quite a bit of folders and a few documents at the bottom. And for some of you, if you just uploaded a lot of resources, you might have tons and tons of just single documents here and there and everywhere. You might have a ton of folders. And I think that the easiest way to just start an organizational system, if you don't have one in place already, is to add a new folder and just title it as the school year. So this is the 2018-2019 school year, and I'm going to create that folder. Now that I'm done that, I'm just going to click the topmost file. There's my Silverton file folder. I'm going to click Shift, and then I'm going to click and hold the down arrow to select every single thing in my drive. And then I'm simply going to drag and drop all of those files into my 2018-2019 folder. And already my anxiety has gone down because instead of having 15 folders and a bunch of documents, I just have one folder with everything from this year. And every school year, you can create one of these new folders. And of course, inside of here, if I know I'm going to need my Silverton folder again next year, I can go ahead and drag that into the next school year. Or here's a real fancy trick for you. If you select a folder or a file and you press Shift Z, you will get an opportunity to be able to store that same file or that same folder in multiple places. Google Drive hack right there for you. So the idea here is that first you want to create this big overarching folder to organize by school year. And then maybe you want to have a file folder for every subject, or if you teach the same subject across multiple class periods, maybe you want to have a subject folder, and inside of that subject folder, you have different folders for different classes. If you're struggling to figure out how you want to organize within these folders, let me know and we can work on that. But my suggestion here is to make the school year folder and to go from there. Now, if you imported a bunch of stuff or your Google Drive is just out of control right now, you're not a bad person. It's going to be okay. My second suggestion to you is to make a folder called Old Stuff and take all the stuff that's just not organized and you have to search through it all the time. Just take all that stuff and put it into the Old Stuff folder. That way, again, you're sort of starting fresh. You're not deleting anything, so the things that you need are still going to be there, but then you're sort of simplifying your organization. So we have made a 2018-2019 folder. Hopefully some of you paused and made an Old Stuff folder to put things into that just don't fall into this year's category. And my next suggestion to you is just to always be creating new folders. So if you are trying to file something away and a folder doesn't exist where that thing fits, just go ahead and create a new folder right then. And then when you're creating items, for example, when I created this slideshow, I created it inside of this folder. And then I went into the folder that I wanted it to be in, and then I created a new slideshow. So always be creating in the folder that you want the item to exist in. And finally, if you're a color coding sort of person and that's helpful to you, you can color code folders in Google Drive. You either right click or two finger click, depending on what device you're on. And then you just select change color and you can choose a different color for your folders. I don't color code my folders. I don't find it particularly helpful, but some people do. Last little bit of information here for you. Once you have your folders sort of organized, there are different layouts that you can look at your Google Drive. So I'm looking at a list right now, but if I click this button up here, it will switch to a grid view, which some people prefer, and you can toggle back and forth between those two views. So those are some basic strategies to help get you organized initially. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to keep you organized now that you have a system.